Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers reportedly, quote, within striking distance on a deal, Pete. Is this a good move if this happens? And the early buzz is that Greg Roman would be his OC, which is an interesting fit with Justin Herbert.
Ugh, what a waste. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a winner. You can't deny
wins
that.
everywhere he goes.
But he wins by playing physical, offensive and defensive football, which I'm okay with, by the way. I think if you're not tough on both lines, you got problems. I don't care how good your quarterback is even. You better be physical on both sides of the ball. Now, having said that, if you're bringing Greg Roman in, that makes no sense. I said this earlier. We were doing a hit on HQ. Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers can't make Justin Herbert feel good. It just can't. And I know somebody, and Danny Cannell said, well, he can be excited about being a winner. And I'd rather throw the ball around. I want to be, would you rather be Trent Dilfer or Dan Marino? I'd rather be Dan Marino. I hope that they don't try and rein Justin Herbert in by bringing in a guy like Greg Roman. I don't like it.
Well, all right. So the Greg Roman thing is definitely concerning. And that's why it was like, if Harbaugh went to the Bears and you had Justin Fields or Caleb Williams and Greg Roman, maybe that's different.
But Herbert's athletic too. He's just not.
Sure.
Remember, he ran for over 100 yards in the Rose Bowl back in the day.
Right. No. Herbert's extremely athletic. I'm just saying, like, Greg Roman was awesome in 2019 when he busted out this offense for Lamar Jackson. And same thing when he busted out, the Colin Kaepernick offense for the 49ers back in the day. And he was there when Alex Smith had his turnaround too. So it's not outrageous to suggest that Harbaugh and Greg Roman could make it work really well with Justin Herbert. But I do think it's fair to, like, would you think it's more, I think it's more likely that he gets the most out of Herbert. Like, he gets the most out of his quarterbacks. It's just not always working with the best quarterbacks.
Well, he had Andrew Luck at Stanford.
Yeah. And they did pretty well.
But he made Andrew Luck. He
didn't make Andrew Luck. Stop it.
Pete, I actually think the Andrew Luck comparison, though, the Andrew Luck comparison is why the Justin Herbert situation could work, because Greg Roman was at Stanford for 2 years with Jim Harbaugh and Andrew Luck, and the three of them took a already talented quarterback. As you said, they did not make Andrew Luck, but that team, that offense looked pretty efficient out there. And Stanford was a laughing stock in that conference for a little bit.
Call up Andrew Luck's numbers at Stanford.
I've got them right in front of me. Which I was looking them up. The first year, 56.3% completion percentage, 2,575 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions as a freshman in 12 games. Second year, sophomore, of course. Did he miss a year for injury? It's weird. They haven't listed sophomore than senior. Bizarre. Anyway, he was only there 3 years, right? Yeah. So second year, 13 games, 70.7% completion percentage, 3,338 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And then his final year, 13 games, 71.3% completion percentage, 3,517 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Yards per attempt went down a snug, or a smidgen, that 8.7 from 9.0. But I mean, aside from the completion percentage his first year, just outstanding stuff. And they
ran the ball, and he was great off of play action and everything else. He ran the ball. But yeah, I mean, look, if they're going to play like they did when Luck was the quarterback, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But if you get 38 touchdown passes out of Justin Herbert, that'd be great. I mean, you take that any day.
He's going to win MVP. He's going to win MVP if he does that.
Right,
probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, if they play like they did when they were at Stanford, okay. But JJ McCarthy didn't throw the ball much at Michigan. I mean, he was, and that's why his evaluation's hard, because he didn't throw the ball a lot at Michigan. So yeah, I mean, look, Harbaugh's a great hire. The shelf life will be short, I think. I mean, that's just who he is. The shelf life is going to be short. But if you can get physical offensive line and physical defensive line, you're going to win in this league, provided you have a quarterback, and they have a quarterback.
And worth noting,
real quick, I want to touch on the shelf life thing real quick, because one thing you don't see is the family ownerships. The Cardinals, the Bengals, the Chargers make these big name hires where you're saying, all right, I'm going to give this guy all the control in the organization. So I think the shelf life thing is interesting, because I have a hard time seeing Harbaugh not butt heads with everyone in the Spanos family. If things get a little bit rocky, or if the Spanos family wants to go one way and Harbaugh's like, no, we're going this way, and you hired me, so that's what we're doing. It just seems like it's an odd coupling, even though I do think it would be a good hire for the Chargers.
Well, he's an odd coupling wherever he goes. He's an odd couple. He's an odd bird. He's a weird dude. I mean,
he's a crazy man.
I mean, he's weird. That's the only way to describe him. I mean, I remember the one press conference I was at, I think it was in Arizona. The 49ers played a game near Thanksgiving. And remember he did the turtle wobble, wobble, gobble, 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 that one?
Gobble, that? Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's just a weird dude, but he can coach, and he will instill a toughness in that team that you haven't seen. So
the only thing I would push back to is that while he does have short shelf lives in most of the spots he's been, the San Francisco, he would have stayed in he only got pushed out of San Francisco because of Trent Baalke, who has been shown, and you've talked about it on the show and elsewhere, Pete. I mean, it's been shown like that, a different GM, maybe Jim Harbaugh's in San Francisco a little bit longer, and he has been in Michigan for 9 years. That's a long time.
It's also his alma mater, and at one point they were talking about getting rid of him, and then they kind of he changed the way.
It was after the 2020 the COVID season. They asked him to take a pay cut, and that's why many people think he's fine leaving now. I think he also really, and this is kind of a no bleep Sherlock thing, but like he really wants to win a Super Bowl. He's talked about this, and obviously winning a national championship for his alma mater is freaking awesome. But I think Jim Harbaugh is wired in a way that means that if he wins a Super Bowl next year, the national championship at Michigan wouldn't even compare to winning the Super Bowl. Like, I think it drives him nuts that his brother has a Super Bowl and he doesn't.
Yeah, maybe. But again, winning a championship in college and then winning one in the NFL is special. I mean, it's hard to do. So it would be a great accomplishment.
Who's done that? Jimmy Johnson and
Pete Carroll did it.
Pete Carroll, yeah, that's right. Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson.
There's a couple others, but accomplishing that would be an amazing feat, and he's more than capable of doing it.